Hey guys, today and over the course of the next few days, it is Amazon's Prime Day. And overall, there are a lot of deals. Some are better than others though, and I just wanted to talk through them. I did this last year and it was generally well received. So I want to talk through and just kind of give my input on some of these deals and determine if they are or are not worth it for you. Before we get started, I will have a link to an article in the description that I'll be updating as the day and next few days go on. They are affiliate links, so if you use them, I will earn a small commission at no cost to you. I appreciate your support if you do decide to use them, but we are going to jump right into it. So the first one we're going to talk about is generally probably one of the best deals that you can get, and it is a Western Digital Elements external hard drive. Now, there are two variants of this that you can buy that are on sale, the 14 terabyte and the 20 terabyte. Now, the 14 terabyte is actually slightly cheaper per terabyte. So the easiest way to kind of price these out is on a price to terabyte ratio. So for example, this device is $270 US. It is 20 terabytes. 20 divided by 270 will get you $13.50 per terabyte. The 14 terabyte is actually $12.14 per terabyte. So overall, it's a little cheaper. Now, that shouldn't sway you one way or another. It's really going to be dependent on your overall data. So this is a great backup destination for a lot of NAS devices, and you can basically just plug it into a pre-built NAS. You could even probably do it to a DIY NAS, depending on exactly what you have, and just back up locally to it. There are obviously better ways to back up your data. It would be better if you could back it up from a NAS to a NAS, but not everybody can do that. So this is better than nothing and overall a good solution for a lot of people. So one of these two variants would be a great pick. If you're not looking for an external hard drive, this internal hard drive is a great price from a price to terabyte perspective. This is about $16.85 or so per terabyte. Overall, it's going to be more expensive than an external hard drive. Now, funny enough, for the external drives, you can actually shuck them, which means that you could basically pop them out of the enclosure and use them as an internal hard drive. Not everybody's going to be into that. And from a warranty perspective, you have to make sure that if that drive ever dies, you could get it back into that enclosure for warranty purposes. With this, you don't really have to worry about it. What you would do is just buy it, pop it into whatever NAS device you have. Now, the Iron Wolf Pro is a great drive. And there are other versions of the non-Pro, so this is just the regular Seagate Iron Wolf, that are on sale as well. But from a price to terabyte perspective, the 16 terabyte is kind of that happy medium between very good performance, a very good price, and a lot of storage space. So overall, this is going to be my pick. Now, there are also much bigger drives, but now we're starting to get into the territory of more niche use cases. I don't think many people need 24 terabyte drives, but at the same time, if you did want larger drives, this is a great option as well. This is slightly more on a price to terabyte perspective from the 16 terabyte hard drive, but overall, it's a good deal. Now, I tend to prefer Seagate Iron Wolf drives, just a personal preference. Western Digital Red Pro drives are a great option as well, and this is on sale too. It's slightly more, it's $10 more for the 16 terabyte drive, but depending on when you're watching this video, one may be in stock and the other might be out of stock. So if it's out of stock, meaning the Seagate Iron Wolf is out of stock and this is still in stock, it's a great option. So now we are going to get into NAS devices. So the UGREEN NASync DXP 4800 Plus is a device last year that I couldn't really recommend, mainly because of UGREEN's OS. Now, I recommended it if you were willing to install TrueNAS or Unraid on it, but the first party operating system just wasn't where it needed to be. I recently reviewed it and I'm currently moving all of my data to it to use it as an offsite backup because it has improved so much. Now, it's not the perfect NAS operating system, but I don't think there is a perfect NAS operating system. But for regular home users, it has just about everything you need. It has pretty good shared folder management. It has a snapshot feature using BTRFS. It has backup options, though it doesn't have any cloud destinations. So that I don't love, but hopefully it will improve one day. If you don't like anything that I just said, you can still install TrueNAS or Unraid on it. And from a power perspective, this thing is very powerful for the price. And it was last year and it still is today. Last year, I was recommending TerraMaster devices as well, and I think even a few others. But overall, today, it's harder for me to recommend those because those, if you compare them head to head with the UGREEN OS operating system, UGREEN OS is better than them. So overall, I'm very comfortable at this point suggesting this device. Again, it is not the perfect NAS operating system. It does have great hardware, but overall a great option for home users. Now this device, which I have as well, is kind of the DXP 4800 Plus, but just about better in every single way. It's bigger, has a better processor, it has better networking capabilities, though it is obviously more than double the price. So for really hardcore, we'll say video editors or small businesses, if you're willing to use UGREEN OS in that capacity, overall, this is a great deal for this specific device. This thing is very, very powerful. This is going to be more niche than the 4800 Plus. I think the 4800 Plus will apply to more people overall, but in those specific use cases where you do need 8 storage bays, this is something that I feel comfortable recommending to you. Next is a UPS device, and UPS devices are kind of like the best insurance policy that you can buy, that everybody should buy, that only a percentage of people do buy. So for just about anything, any device that you have, adding a UPS to it can be beneficial. For NAS devices, it is a requirement in my opinion. So what you basically do is you take your NAS device, you plug it into one of the battery outlets on one of these devices, then you plug this into the wall, and in the event of a power loss, the battery backup will stay online. Now what this one has is a USB data cable. So what that allows you to do is it allows you to monitor the UPS. So what happens is you plug your NAS into the battery backup option, you plug the data cable into the NAS, and then if it goes onto battery backup, your NAS will be aware of it, and then at that point it will safely shut down in the event that it has to. So if power does not come back online in a specified time period, you can automatically shut down your NAS. For RAID, this is very, very important. For just about all of your home lab devices, this is very important. But for NAS devices, it's more important because of RAID and multiple hard drives working together. At this price, this is a great device. Now, you can get into specifics like sine waves, pure sine wave versus simulated sine wave, etc. I look at this stuff from the perspective of you should have something. If you're willing to spend more, yes, you should get a pure sine wave device. If you're not, something like this, which is simulated sine wave, is a great option to have and is absolutely better than nothing. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about is mini PCs. And overall, we've officially reached the point where you should be looking at N150 mini PCs if you are in the market for them. So last year I was recommending N100, and the N100 devices are still great. If you can get your hands on one of them, it's not drastically better performance with N150, but it's the newer iteration of it. And overall, you will get slightly better performance with it and great power consumption. Now, these can be used for various things. You can install Proxmox on it. You can install Ubuntu Server on it. You can throw it in a corner and use it as just a regular mini PC. But what I like about this device is the fact that it has two 2.5 gigabit network ports. From a home lab perspective, that provides a lot of flexibility, though you are paying for it. So for $180 US, you get the N150 processor, 16 gigabytes of memory, and the two 2.5 gigabit NICs. But if you need or want something slightly less expensive and less powerful, you can get the GMK Tech mini PC. That is an N150 as well. The difference is this comes with 8 gigs of memory, 256 gigabyte SSD instead of the 500, and you will only have one 2.5 gigabit network port. So this is kind of like the cheaper version, slightly less powerful device compared to the B-Link. If money is not an object, if you want to use it as a firewall, basically you have to go with the B-Link because the 2 network ports will be very important. But if you're looking for just a basic mini PC, this is going to be a great option. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is something I actually just received for testing a few days ago, so I haven't used it yet, but I am cautiously optimistic. And it's a mini PC, though it can be used as a NAS. And when I say it can be used as a NAS, it has space for 4 NVMe SSDs. So what people are doing with these is they're getting them and they're putting something like TrueNAS on it. And then at that point, you're able to basically run a true NAS device on a mini PC with great power consumption and decent networking performance since it has 2.5 gigabit NICs. Now, comparing this to something like the B-Link that we discussed before, this is actually very similar to that device. And because this is a mini PC, you can really do whatever you want with this device. So depending on your requirements, this could be a better option than the B-Link, but overall, they're all in that mini PC category where exactly what you want to do with them will determine which path you should go down. Now, I think I had this switch in my list last year as well. This is just a generic unmanaged 2.5 gigabit switch with one 10 gigabit SFP plus port. If you want or need something like that, it's basically impossible to beat this price here. It's super cheap for what you're getting. Now, this is not a managed switch, so you can't configure it with different VLANs, etc. But you can use it if you just want 2.5 gigabit networking between a few devices or for your entire network, depending on exactly how large it is. So the flexibility is not there because it's unmanaged, but for the price, this could be very enticing depending on exactly what you need to do with it. Finally, I bought one of these last year and I've used it so many times with a lot of devices, especially laptops these days. They do not come with a dedicated NIC, so you don't have an Ethernet port. So you're going down the path now of if you ever need a wired connection, you need to buy an adapter like this. I like this one really just because it's USB-A and USB-C. So depending on exactly what device you have, it's going to have the flexibility to just basically work on whatever it is as long as you have a USB port. For the price, really can't be beat. I've used this over the course of the past year so many times. And if you don't have one of these, it's cheap enough to buy for the situation where you will need it possibly one day. But if you are in a situation where you need something long-term, I can tell you that I've been using it for about a year and it has worked flawlessly. So like I said earlier in the video, there are a lot of deals out there. And overall, these are some of the ones that I find to be the best. Doesn't necessarily mean there aren't any more, but based on everything that I've seen from a price to performance perspective, these are some of the deals that I think make sense to possibly buy. Like I said earlier, I have an article in the description that I'll update if any of these deals come in or out of stock. But other than that, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.